All right. Hey, how you doing? Soar Radio. We are back from our vacation. This is Reverend Rick McCain along with my baby, my girl, my boo. Back from our 30-year anniversary vacation in Hawaii. And we are so excited to be back on the radio with you. Yeah. So excited. Baby, you excited to be back?
I am. I'm looking at us. We toasty looking.
Yeah, you do look a little bit toasty. I'm going to tease her because her sister, I'm going to tease her because her sister asked her, did she miss doing the show? And she said, nope. And I'm like, wait a minute. You know how you said that. So I got your sister back at me that you made a statement that you didn't miss the show. But I know you did. But, you know, I know you missed the show. I know you missed Ife Designs for sure. But I know
I didn't miss nothing really last week.
Actually, it was just, you know, a time to relax and get away from things. And so it was really nice. But we had a great time. We're going to talk a little bit about that, too, because we had a wild time in Hawaii. Had to, you know, pass up some storms. They had some tropical storms coming that way. They had 3 at the time. 3 storms at the time was coming there. And I think one was Gilda. One was Hector.
Oh, it was a Gilda?
And I forget what the first one was. But we missed them all, fortunately for us. But it did rain one time. It rained out one of our excursions. But, you know, Hawaii is like, you get in there and, like, it can rain real, you know, heavy. And then 2 hours later, it's dry as a bone. You know, so we had that happen to us on Wednesday. We went on an excursion. It rained a little, then it stopped, then it was sunny, then it rained, then it sunny, then it rained.
Then it poured.
Yeah.
It poured
And then
down.
it, you know, and all of a sudden, you know, you look and it's sunny and hot again. So it was fun. It was good to be relaxing. Plane rides was somewhat interesting, but we'll talk about that. Hey, babe, you got anything you want to share before we get into the show? We're gonna have no guests this time. We're gonna bring some people on Soar Radio on the radio. I've got to work on that. I've been lax in my job, but, you know, kind of busy with some things. But we're going to get some people on the show from Soar Radio. Hopefully next week I'll get that together. We'll start getting people on there for Soar Radio. But, babe, you got something you want to share with us?
I just want to say, thank God for prayers because that was a long trip. And I thank God that we didn't have to be bothered with the strike. I know we're going to get in that later, but woo, thank God for that. But had a nice time, and thankfully, you know, prayers for traveling grace, and we made it back safe. And once we got back home, we jetted back out and made it back safe again. So, yeah.
And we went to go see sister-in-law.
My beautiful sister.
Miss Renee Johnson. So we had a good time out there too. in boring Bloomington. Oh my God! I gotta tell y'all this. I gotta tell you this. We went to go get a pizza from somewhere, and so now what me and Brenda do, we eat pizzas and fries. It's some fries with it. We went to go get a pizza, and it was like about 9:36 or something. And so I said, "Can we get some fries? To go with that. A basket of fries." He says, "Oh, we cut off our fryers at 9:30." I says, "Excuse me? You cut off your
The town
fryers?"
closed up early.
Now the restaurants, I mean the pizza places open until 12 midnight, but they cut off their fryers at 9:30. I've never heard that. I don't know. Kenny lives in Rockford. They
like
may do something
Bloomington.
like that too, but here in Chicago, they don't cut off nothing. They cut it off when it's time to close. But she told me that. I'm like, okay, thank you. Kenny said he never heard of that. You got 2 hours and 30 minutes. No, 2 hours and 30 minutes because it was 9:30. 2 hours and 30. Yeah, about 2 hours and 30 minutes, and they've already stopped their fryers for French fries, and so we couldn't order that. I'm like, okay, that I've never heard that. I'm like, are we in Mayberry RFD? That was strange to me. So Bloomington, and they don't really have any rib places in Bloomington. Now there's African Americans in Bloomington, but they don't have places where you can buy ribs from a African American brother or sister cooking up some good rib. We couldn't find no ribs on Labor Day. I mean, I'm gonna tell you something. That's bad. You couldn't smell anybody cooking any ribs
Nothing.
on Labor Day.
Or the day before.
Or nothing. That wasn't a. You know how they say it's not a. Nothing, nada, zilt. There was not a smell of hickory or anything coming from there. No, I said, if I ever won some money, I'm going to Bloomington so I can open up a couple of things over there. I ain't got to live there, but I'm going to go there and open up. No ribs. They used to have one place you can get some ribs at.
Famous Days.
Famous Days.
They gone.
And they gone. But I mean, wait a minute. Nobody cooking ribs? Nobody.
No neighbors.
No,
No
nothing.
nothing.
I mean-
wait a minute. That's when you ask Kenny, did y'all have ribs?
I mean, when you want to
Kenny.
go. Yeah, Kenny's our producer for those, there's our Rockford goat there that's helping us out. on the background.
did.
I've never heard of that in the town or anywhere. Not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse of ribs was smelling anyway. You couldn't.
But I guarantee Halloween they gonna party.
Oh yeah, they
They party.
But
with
that shocked me. I'm like, wow, no smell of ribs. I'm like, Lord have mercy, that was shocking. Hey, so that blew me away. The fryer was cut off, and there's no ribs. They had more people in line in Hobby Lobby than they did have one rib anywhere. So I mean that was crazy. So, babe, you got anything else you want to say before we go on?
Nope.
All right, so we're gonna go on the show. Hey, thank you all. We appreciate you and all of the anniversary wishes that we got. Brenda's gonna stick the pictures out there for our time. She's got to do her little e-fay thing with them, and so she'll get them out there tomorrow or the next day. And so we thank everybody who gave us celebrating our anniversary well wishes, congratulations. Happy anniversary. We want to thank all of you who did that over on Facebook or Instagram or wherever that was done, and we didn't get a chance to get back to it. We appreciate it very much. And we're looking for somebody's calling me now. As you can see, my tone has my the radio show in this. Of course it does. But we appreciate all that love that we received from everyone. We're going to go on to talk about the information we have today. Babe, what are we talking about today?
On Christian Real, we are talking about a period of healing.
A period of healing. So we talked about a period of peace, a period of praise. And now I promised you all that we're going to talk about a period of healing. And we have to have a mindset of healing when we get to a period of peace and a period of praise. The peace is what we do when we don't allow anything to disturb our relationship with God. We talked about, the peace that passes all understanding. And we talk about the praise, and we have to be in a period of praise where we are praising God for what God is going to do for us in our lives. And now we're going to talk about the period of healing, because you have to be able to have a period where you are believing and confessing and acknowledging that through that peace, that period of peace and that period of praise, you are now going to receive the healing that you've been looking for. Some of us are going through prostate cancer. We're going through breast cancer. We're going through losing of jobs and all other things that we're going through. And we have to be at a period where we start having a period of healing and have faith to believe that God can do exceedingly and abundantly what we can ask or think. We have to feel and believe that the healing that we are looking for, and it doesn't mean just body, it could be mental healing that you need. You may need some mental healing. You may need some mental healing away from somebody. You may need some mental healing. Like we took a mental healing break from the things we was going through. We went to Hawaii. You may need some mental healing, not just physical healing. You may need some emotional healing. But you have to now be at that period of having faith and trust and believe that God is going to give you that mental healing. I love Psalms 30:2. It says, Lord, help me. I called to you for help and you healed me. You have to have that kind of thought process that in your period of healing, when you call on the Lord for help, you must have the belief and the faith that he will heal you. Now, that's going to be difficult sometimes when you're listening to voices that are other than those of God. When we're listening to other people telling us what we should and we shouldn't do. Well, you should do this and you should do that. You need to do this and you need to do that. You got to be careful, because if you're in a period of healing, you're in a period of peace, you're in a period of praise, you're in a period of healing, that is something that you're having a relationship totally with God and no one else. That is your period where you and God alone are in a relationship where you're speaking peace, praising God, and asking for healing over your life, even before the healing process has begun or shown itself. You have to have the faith and believe that he can do exceedingly abundantly, that God will never leave you or forsake you. But you have to be in that position. Mentally, you have to be in that position that saying, though they told me I'm in stage 4 prostate cancer, God can still, as Psalms 30:2 says, Lord my God, I called for you for help and you healed me. There is a process. You make the faith call, and you have to also have the belief. So it's a faith and belief. You're going to call to God, and as you're calling, have the belief that he's going to heal you. And if you're not in that period, you got to hear this, Satan will challenge you. He will see where you are and will challenge you, because you can say, Lord, my God, I called for you for help. And that doesn't mean anything if you don't have the faith and believe and you healed me, because Satan will sit there and say, well, you've been calling on God for a while, haven't you? You've been talking to him about a while about, getting this situation taken care of. But yet you are still in the same situation you are. What happens to our period of healing when we find ourselves, and I'm going to let my baby talk in a second, when we find ourselves still with the 12 years issues of blood and we still are not been healed? when the lady had the 12-year issues of blood, she decided when she saw Jesus coming to break through the crowd and say, all I got to do is touch the hem of his garment. Where is your hem? What are you trying to touch? What are you having faith in? Do you still, after so long, after so many times of looking for healing, have you given up? Or do you seek for Jesus and say, all I need to do is, what is your ears at that point? Baby, I got to let you talk because I'll start preaching.
Yeah. But you know what? You have to have that faith over fear because Satan will sift you out because he knows, like, okay, the average person, okay, I've been going through this a week, I've been going through this a month, it's been a year. We put a time frame on when we think God should heal us in any aspect of our lives, but God doesn't. That's building your faith, and it always is the statement, God, let your will be done, not my will. Because my will will be done, and not me personally, but, human will be done. And we're side on over with Satan thinking, well, see, that's all I needed to do is believe in him. He didn't heal. No, he covered it up. He didn't heal anything. So it's best to wait on the Lord at all times, to let him handle whatever situation you in, because the period of healing is a personal journey of you and God, not you and yours. Like, even though what Rick is going through his journey with prostate cancer, and I could say it affects me too, but it don't affect me the way it affects him. And so his journey with this process is him drawing closer to God, even though I could pray on the sidelines and everything, but as his cheerleader, but that's his walk that he has to walk with God, and been doing an excellent job. But as many things out there, from emotions, health, finances, mentality, everything that you're going through, it's not just overnight. 24 hours, this have to be gone. When you thinking that way, Satan, he gets in and listen to everything, just like God is listening. He's listening to everything and know your weaknesses and know exactly what could just disturb or trigger Brenda, Rick, all that I could say, I got them. Because they talk this big game, but now I got them. But the thing with this is a period of healing. You really do need to stay prayerful and read the word, believe, have that faith over the fear that's going on. Yes, it looked bleak, very bleak with certain things, but have that faith that God is going to be in control of everything. Just wait on it. As the old song was like, Jesus, take the wheel. Allow him to take the wheel, because if you give him the wheel over to Satan, it's going to crash and burn, and it's not going to be pretty. It's like all you have to do, and I know that's hard, but all you have to do is continue to wait.
And you said something that I thought was very, I like. You said, what triggered you? And see, that's the thing about it. Satan is trying to find those triggers where he can, move you out of your period of peace, your period of praise, your period of healing. He's trying to find those trigger points, those weak moments in your life. As I brought up the woman of 12 years into issue of blood, 12 years she had been dealing with that. That is a long time. 12 years. You know that sometime within those 12 years, she had a period of depression. She was unhappy. Her life was, like, I wish I wasn't living with it. You know what we're talking about because you've been there. We've been there, where situations will come into your life and it will disturb the period where you're supposed to be in a relationship solely with God, trusting and believing in God that he will be able to resolve and help you with all of your needs. But yet the problem, the situation, the illness is still there, and you're trying to figure out, why is this happening to me? Where did this come from? The doctors can't tell me what it is. The lawyer can't tell me why I'm going through this. Why did my house catch on fire? They can't tell me what. There's so many things that you have an if or why. And Satan will grab or hold you that. And then also he'll magnify it throughout your life, trying to bring back the history of things that triggered you and disturbed you. But you have to have that thought process that Jeremiah 17:14 says. And it says, heal me, Lord, and I will be healed. Save me, and I will be saved. For you are the one I praise. Going back to period of praise. The word says, heal me, Lord. And then it says, by faith and in belief, I know that I will be healed. That's where you need to be at. No matter what's going on in your life, no matter how many trials and tribulations. I know the current situation looks bleak and you're tired and you're wondering, why am I constantly going through this once again? Like Diana Ross, who says, good morning, heartache. Here we go again. I thought we said goodbye last night. I tossed and turned until I thought you was gone. But here you are again. Even though it's standing in your face, the problem, the emotional, the physical, you need to be in a period of healing where you say, heal me, Lord. You're asking God. God says, bring all your requests unto me. You're asking, heal me, Lord, and I will be healed. This is a verse of saying, I already have the faith that know that if I ask, you will do. You're gonna do. He says, ask and God will give it unto you. Seek. You know that verse where you are able to call on the Lord and believe. And you say, save me from my doubt. Save me from my worry. Save me from my situation. Because we're still human. I mean, you could be in a period of praise and you're still going to have a period of battles, a period of conflict, a period of worries, a period of depression. You're going to be there, but you say, save me, Lord. Take me out of that. Save me from my own despair, where somebody might be speaking negative words to me like, girl, you always seem to have problems. What is wrong with you? Why is your life like that? God, man, dude, why do you always have these issues like this, man? Why are you, it's the fourth time you've been battling with drugs. Why you, save me from that. And I believe, God, that I will be saved. For you are the one that I praise. You're giving praises to God. In your healing, there should be peace and there should be praise. But you have to be the one to have the faith and belief that if you say, God, heal me, you also need to have the confession that I will be healed. Call those things that be not as though they were. You have to have that kind of same belief as well.
Yeah, but I don't want to be the flip side of it. You just said it. It is hard when you continuously going through something, but we know God is our Savior, our refuge. And if you believe in Him, have that faith, no matter what you're going through, you can always still praise Him through whatever you're going through. And believe me, He sees that. And when that time come of healing, and He watched you over the months, the weeks, the months, the years that you've been going through. Now, I'm about to bless you because your faith has been so strong through everything. Like I said, I know some very resilient women. It's like stuff just crushes them and they still there. They still fighting steadfast, being strong, being resilient. And I love that. And I want for me as well to continue to have that faith over fear. Faith over fear. Again, faith over fear, because fear will pull you down so quickly. Like, what is that? Quicksand? You'll just be drowning in anything, whatever you had left of thinking, I'm going to get through this. Once you let Satan hear it, he got you. And you have to stop I don't care what you're going through, because we all going through a lot. And we're talking about having healing over all the things we was just discussing, our health, finances. Let's have healing in America, because we're going through a lot. And the thing is, you got to have faith that God's going to work even that out. He gonna work all of it out, and if whoever wins, God's gonna work that out too.
Yeah, and the thing that you have to understand is that a period of healing doesn't stop you from suffering. Okay, it doesn't stop you from suffering. Your faith and your belief is what stops you from suffering. You may go through a period of time where the suffering may continue. Okay, and there may be something like with me, I have prostate cancer. Now, it hasn't went away; it has reduced, but it's still there. So there is still a issue that's there. I haven't shared. I haven't really shared other issues that I'm going through as well, but those issues are there. That I'm, praying for God, and they're there, and there's medication that you have to take for these things, and you don't get discouraged and say, well, if God was healing me, why do I got to do this? No, we talked about the woman 12 years, and she got into a crowd of men who were only supposed to be around these women who were never supposed to be within that crowd, and she broke through the crowd and says, if I can just touch the hem of his garment, I will be clean, I'll be healed. She had that faith, regardless to the situation she was going through. At a moment when God and Jesus was available, when she had the opportunity to be next to him, her prayers, all she said is, hey, I know this man is a healer. All I've got to do is touch the hem of his garment. Now, she had the ability to do that, but God through Jesus Christ, who died on the cross, has given us the ability to touch the hem of his garment spiritually with our faith. And all we've got to do is say, hey, heal me, Lord, and I'll be healed. Or say, Lord, I called for help and you healed me. And this is what Mark says. We got to close this out. Mark 5:34 says, and he said to her, daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be free from your suffering. Your faith has healed you. In your period of suffering, we talked about this in peace, praise, and now in healing. Your faith and trusting and believing that God will do all that he said he will do, and that you are in line with the word of God. You're obedient to the word of God. You're following the word of God. You're not walking outside of the word of God. It's not a Sunday Sunday morning worship of God. You're praising God continuously. You're living your life according to the word of God. Your faith and your belief is what's going to heal you. And he said, daughter, your faith has healed you. Did you hear what he said? He did not say, I healed you. He said, your faith healed you. Now, your faith in me healed you, but he said, daughter, your faith has healed you. Your faith in me, your trust in me has healed you. So that means you have an accountability and the ability and the power to change your atmosphere, the issues that are in your life.
Oh.
Issues that are in your life by you being accountable, you being there, you saying, hey, I believe. It's like I said, the word says, I believe, but help my unbelief. I believe. There's going to be times where you're going to struggle, you're going to suffer, but I believe your faith, he says, has healed you. He says, go in peace and be free from your suffering. That's what we all want. To the point where we're going through a trial and tribulation and God tells us, your faith has healed you. Or we see the day where what we've been praying for comes into fruition. And we know that this is God saying, it was your faith. There's nothing that God can't do, but he wants to do it through our faith, through our believing in him, that we will trust him in the times of darkness. We will trust God in 12 years or 13 years or 5 years or 1 year. Some of us can't even go 60 days. We ready. I've been praying to God for 2 months and he ain't done nothing yet. Obviously, God ain't hearing me, or we'll get a little bit, more, but maybe it's just, I'm not living my life according to his will. I mean, okay, well then live your life according to his will. We become martyrs. Maybe it's just not meant for me to. No, that's that trigger that Satan is looking for. So he can trigger you to say something like that. You have to trust, have faith, and believe. So in your period of healing, you've got to know what Psalms 30:2 says. Help me, Lord. I called on you and you healed me. Jeremiah 17:14. Heal me, Lord, and I will be healed. Save me, and I will be saved. For you are the one I praise. And Mark 5:34. This is what you want to hear. Daughter, your faith has healed you. Man, Brenda, Rick, Kenny, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be free from your suffering. These are the words that we want to hear through our period of healing. But we have to believe it, that it's coming to fruition, that God is already sending the healing to us that we need before we receive it, because it's by the faith that we'll receive it and we'll be able to move forward. And the last thing I want to say is that once you receive your spirit of healing, share what God has done. Mm-hmm. Share with others. Give them the confidence. Give them the ability to believe. If it could happen to you, I've got this thing. One time I've got to even preach, or I got to bring up, if he could make it through it. If he can make it through this, if you can make it through this, if God helped you, share. That's what testimony is all about. Not testifying, but testifying.
Oh, okay.
God has been so good to me. I was able to pay off this debt that I had. Well, you got your income tax return.
Stop.
We all get income tax returns. I mean, it's not like that. You could thank God for it, but we all get income tax. I mean, what I'm talking about, when God has saved you through something that there was nothing else but God, and you testify to people about it. Because we know in church, boy, we want to give a testimony. It's like, really? That's come on. Because we want to self-glorify. Look what God has done for me. No, when you testify, you're saying, look what God has done, not what for me. Because you're no respecter person. He can do it for Brenda. He can do it for me. He can do it for Kenny. He can do it for Justin. He can do it for everybody. But you're saying, look what God has done, not for me. I am the recipient, but it wasn't just for me. I'm sharing it to let you know that if he did it for me, he can do it for you. You have to walk in faith. So we've got some music we're going to be playing today. It's going to be coming from Smokey Norval. All of the music today is going to be coming from Smokey Norval. And the song you're going to hear on SOAR Radio is called I Understand. For those of you all that are listening to us on YouTube and Facebook, you're going to stay with us as we talk about some of our subjects here, topics that we got on that we have for you today. So stay with us, listen up to this music, and we'll be right back. All right, babe, what you got for me?
I'm going to start off with the strike in Honolulu.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to say thank God.
There we go.
For
That's a testifying about something that God ain't got nothing to do
Thank
with. Okay.
for letting His will be done. That we got
Uh-huh.
in and out of
Let His
Hawaii
will be done.
before
Okay.
the strike. 'Cause,
Yeah.
woo, as most people know, we went to, I never could pronounce it, but it's Hawaii. But it was, what is it?
Waikiki.
Yeah, well, you go say
We was
Waikiki.
on Honolulu, Waikiki,
Honolulu, Waikiki.
Oahu.
Oahu. We went to that island a week before that strike, and hey, but our trip there was so interesting. I love the way you were sharing it, babe.
Yeah, we're gonna share a little bit on the radio. We was telling Kenny about it, but you can talk a little bit about the strike.
Okay. Well, the strike is happening. They're 2 days in of the hotel strike. Is in Waikiki. Hotel services were lack of, according to a lot of tourists that came. And unfortunately, their dream trip has been a nightmare. But I always say, we do get so spoiled because you're paying all this good money for this. You want the services, but you could make up your own bed. I mean, if you need some more towels and everything, I get that. But the thing is, if the hotels were Hyatt, Hilton, Marriott, and Keoya. These, and we were at, I'm allowed to say that, right?
We were at what? Yeah,
The Hyatt Hotel
Hyatt
and
Place.
Hyatt Regency Hotel.
Okay.
And the services was tremendously nice that week that we was there. So I can't feel for them, but a lot of people are saying we understand why they're striking. It just happened to be when we're there. But the thing that gets me is people was like, if we would have known, we would have, pushed back. But you don't know how long a strike.
I mean, you could still feel for them because they're in a situation that you was not in. I think, we didn't need hotel service that much anyway because typically, we don't want anybody coming in and cleaning our bedroom and stuff like that when we're there because, the times that we're there, it was like, okay, we need some more towels. We'll ask for some more towels or something like that. But there are some people that like to have the room cleaned up for them, every day. Brenda wants to do the bed everywhere she goes, and so that's something that we didn't really necessarily need. So it wouldn't have affected us as much. And the hotel that we was in, they didn't have any kind of free breakfast or anything like that, and so that didn't affect us. And so it wouldn't affect us as much. And I don't know if Hyatt Regency was a part of one of those hotels that got hit with that. There was like a couple of different Hyatt places, but I don't know if they were there. You correct me if I'm. So you're thinking yes to either brand. So Kenny's saying that it would have been hit. So we're that's great. We didn't get hit by that, but I understand how that can mess up a trip. I'm just thankful that it wasn't something that we had to deal with because it could have been a lot of people would have been complaining, and the problem of it is that once you now if you're already there and the strike happens, now you're okay, but you're trying to get into the room and there's nobody cleaning it. It's like who's going to clean up the room because if they're on strike, nobody's cleaning the room. And so now you got a problem with trying to get people register to go into a hotel because now you got 300 rooms or something, and the hotel we was in had like almost 50 floors.
Yeah.
You got 300 is, there's at least about I think about 20 things on the floor. You count 50. That's a lot of hotels. You got to take care of hotel rooms. Yeah, and so just think about all that trying to get in there, and it's like, okay, we're having a delay because we don't have anybody there. Who's gonna clean the bedrooms? Are you gonna give me a discount because I gotta change my own sheets? Hey, I'm gonna tell you something. Just me, as a black man, just black man. Give me, $50 off a day for my bill. I'll, just give me my sheets and I put them on there myself.
Hello.
So Kenny was saying management. Yeah, but management is going to clean that many rooms, 50 floors, and at least 20 20 places? How they doing that? Okay, so he's saying they lowered the number. And see, that's got to be bad because if I'm coming there and I'm supposed to have a room and now you lowering what, hey, wait a minute. You telling me I ain't got a room? Where am I going to sleep at? You know?
But the Hyatt Regency with a Hyatt, a statement from the Hyatt said, Hyatt hotels have contingency plans in place
Sure they do.
to minimize impact on hotel operations related to strike activities.
You know,
I am.
right. You know, I'm gonna be
Mhm.
facetious. I'm like, so they have it. They have a homeless problem there. You know,
Very
very
bad
big.
homeless
So I'm
problem.
all of a sudden you see a homeless person coming in there cleaning your room. I'm like, wait a minute,
Nope, nope, nope,
you
nope,
ain't
nope.
even clean. I mean, I'm just
Right, but you
I'm
cleaning my
joking.
room.
I'm just joking here, so don't get mad. I mean, I can't believe I'm joking, but they somebody's got to clean up the rooms,
Now,
and so that's gonna be something.
a United here, Local 5 representative, oh, go back on that, was saying that they want the people to realize how close and how they appreciate the services that the staff give them.
All right, so we got to get it on the radio now, guys. All right, everybody, welcome back to Let's Get a Talk Show. Your host, Reverend Rick McCain, along with my baby, my girl, my boo, author. I don't want to go through your titles.
Just Brian,
Just Brian, you know,
right now.
Evangelist Brian, Brenda, you know, AKA Betty Shabazz, depending on what mood you catch it on, what story we talking about. You got evangelists that, you know, that'll teach you, you know, word of God and help you out with things. Or you have Betty Shabazz that are just, I don't like that. I don't agree with that.
I don't.
You know, so that you know, and then she'll do the moving of the head too. So the evangelist doesn't move the head as much, but you know,
I move the heart
you know,
towards you.
yeah. So we've got some things to talk. Hey, I know we don't really have any guests this time, and we're going to talk about a couple things, but we want to talk a little bit about our vacation because it was very interesting. Brenda was talking a little bit about it on the air with you guys who listen to the music, Smokey Noble, and I understand about our trip to Hawaii. But we were able to escape the issue where they're now having a strike on the island of Waikiki, and a lot of people are having problems with getting into their rooms. Or all right, so, what Kenny says, is that other cities in Hawaii? Oh, yeah, United States. Okay, yes, other cities in the United States.
But for this
But for
segment,
this segment, we talking about Hawaii, and we were just fortunate. Now we had storms that came at our time. We had to go 3 storms that came through, and the storms didn't really hurt us. It did knock out one excursion, what we thought we should have still had because it didn't really rain that much. But they
was super
stopped it.
windy.
It was super. Yeah, the windy. It was very windy. But we bypassed the storms. But what I was very fortunate was I didn't want to get hit by the hotel strike because I know at the time we was going there, they had already had 90% of the people who said they agreed to strike. So as soon as we get out of there, which we left there Thursday, now we hear Monday, which I mean Tuesday, which is today, they're on strike and people are having issues with getting hotel rooms and clean rooms and all kind of things. So
Yeah, and I want to paint this picture for you because it is Hawaii, Honolulu. It is day 2 of this strike, and Waikiki Beach is like the #1 beach on that island where so many tourists on that strip, which looks like Las Vegas now. Can you imagine all those hotels? And I did name a few of the hotels, which was around there: the Hyatt, the Hilton, the Marriott, and the Keoya. Those were the ones that they're talking about from the article that I read, that the people went on strike and the tourists are complaining Hawaii is not the way it used to be in so many forms, but that's a whole nother story. But with the hotel, to me, it's like, we do get spoiled because we know we're paying this high price for stuff. If I want some service, I want it to be done when I call down for it because I already done paid for it. However, if you can't get any, make up your own bed, people. I know you don't want to, but make up your bed. Like we said, this was not a hotel for serving breakfast, free breakfast. So that would have knocked out a lot of people of being upset because it's like, well, where we going to eat? You gotta go outside the hotel, which we love us some Dukes, you know. But tell them about the first hotel.
Yeah, well, I want to say this. First, I want to give a shout out to All Things Oahu Hawaii Paradise. They gave us a lot of great information. This is a group. So if you're thinking about joining a group, a public group that can help you out with excursions and things to do in Hawaii, All Things Oahu, at least Oahu, All Things Oahu Hawaii Paradise, they gave me a lot of good information, places to go, to eat, and things of that. Except for one person who told me because I don't like seafood, I shouldn't come to Hawaii. And I love the fact that I didn't have to really say anything. They got on his case for me. So shout out to All Things Oahu Hawaii Paradise for the information they gave us. So we're talking a bit about the vacation we went on. Again, me and Brenda were just recently celebrating our 30-year anniversary, and so we went to Hawaii, which is where we went to for our honeymoon 30 years ago. So we decided to go back there because we couldn't make it to Paris because I didn't get the passports in time. The long story short is that. So we got there to this hotel, and we were supposed to be going to this hotel called Hyatt Place. And so it's Hyatt Place, Oahu Beach, not Waikiki Beach. Hyatt Place, Waikiki Beach. And we drove to this place, and I got there, and I'm looking, and I'm like, and we pulled up to this. Now, the pictures on the hotel are beautiful. So if you're going to go to Oahu, let me just start out by saying, do not pick Hawaii Place, Waikiki Beach. Do not go there. If you want to have a good time, don't go there. We go to this place. The pictures they have on site are beautiful. My God, you talking about line? I'm just gonna say, you ever see that picture of that person that you're about to date and they put it on the dating thing and they look gorgeous and then you get there and I'm like,
catfish.
They what they call it, catfish. Mm-hmm. This hotel catfished us because it didn't look anything. Now you know it's bad when you get to the hotel and you got vagrants. Unsortly people hanging in front of the hotel smoking cigarettes.
Unsavory people.
Unsavory people smoking cigarettes in front of the hotel. So
and more than cigarettes.
And I'm looking like, okay, this doesn't look right. And so now we walk up the stairs. Now they don't have any stairs. They have like a driveway thing there. And so the driveway, the circular thing, and you got to really push your suitcase up there. And if you got a lot of suitcases, you really got to struggle to get up the thing. Mm-hmm. And then you get up there and we look, and there's like about 30 to 40 pieces of luggage sitting there waiting for people to get rooms. We get a room. I don't know how we got a room. They gave us a room. And, it's like, okay, well, they got a room. And I'm looking at Brenda. At first, I'm saying to myself, I'm not really liking this, but let me see what happens. We go, carpet's messed up, as you go into the elevator. Get on the elevator, get off. We get into the room. The room smells sour, like it hasn't been cleaned in like days. I mean, there's no strike at this time. It smelled like somebody dropped some sour milk or something. I mean, it hit you. It hit you like Mike Tyson hit you. I mean, like, whoa, what the heck? And then we get into the room, and there is food packages on the floor.
Okay.
You want to say something? Food
I
packages
can't
on
help
the
but to
floor.
laugh because Rick, the minute we poured up, I said, it's about to come, because I looked at his face. I looked at as you call them, vagrants in front of the first hotel. And I'm like, it gotta get better than this. This is our 30th anniversary. It gotta get better than this. Okay, we get in that room, though. You describing it to a T. And I'm unpacking, because I said, well, we just go, I'm trying to have a great spirit.
We're trying to make the best of it. I'm like, nope.
I'm not trying to make the best of it. I didn't unpack my whole luggage. I'm like, this is a very small room with a very old air conditioner
Right.
on
It looked
top,
like a 1950 air conditioner.
a dented. What was the thing called? What's the thing? Patio thing
Right.
we was on. That's not the name of it
Well,
though. But whatever that thing was, the view was not the view that we seen online. It was horrible because, like I said again, that the view was of an old rundown motel that looked like something from Chicago PD where they going to make a drug bust.
Well,
and I'm like, oh
let me stop you
my
because
God.
I'm gonna let you jump back in, but like you said, the air conditioner was like in the 50s. It was dirty.
Yes.
You could see the dirt all over the air conditioner. Then there's dirt spots on the wall. The only thing that looked nice in there, they had a nice TV. I'm like,
Yeah,
all
the
this,
TV, I'm sharp.
you know, all this, all this and this. You got a nice TV. We was going to the balcony.
That's a balcony. Had
And
me messed
that
up.
thing was so
It was
rusted
cracked.
and cracks was on there. I told Brenda, you can step out there if you want to. I ain't stepping out on this thing. I mean, it looked like it could fall. And then, as she said, when we opened up the window, it was like, is this the projects? I mean, because they had
Seriously.
these housing
Hyatt Place.
that
Hyatt
looked
Place.
terrible. And I'm like, what the heck is this? This is not the view we was looking for. They talking about lake views. I'm like, there's nowhere over there you could see the lake. Let's just put it that way.
Nah.
I mean, the ocean, I should
The
say, not the
ocean.
lake. There's nothing. I mean, you might have seen somebody in a little bathtub or something. From the view was getting, it was horrific. I'm like, oh my God. I said,
And mind you, his mind was, I'm getting us out of here.
Right.
And I'm still unpacking, like, you know what? Ye of little faith. That was me. Him with great faith. That was him. And he persevered.
That was
Rick
it.
stayed on the phone like, I ain't celebrating my 35th anniversary in this crowd. And I'm like, should I put my clothes back in the luggage? He was like, give me a minute.
okay, so
Go ahead.
give me a minute. And I'm gonna tell the story.
Like,
So I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna stay in this. I mean, I'm gonna try my best to get out of here. So we went through Expedia, and I gotta thank the young lady at Expedia. I can't remember her name. We thought that Hyatt Place and Hyatt Regency were not connected. Were connected. Obviously, Kenny knew they wasn't connected when we told him, nope, they're not. But we thought they were connected, and so we called. Yeah.
mm.
Okay.
Oh.
And see, this
Well,
is
they
when I wish
duped
Kenny would
us.
actually speak out and say this. But what he was saying is that they're connected, but there's different owners to the hotels. And so, because of that, I called Hyatt, and they said, "Well, no, I called the Hyatt Regency first to see if I could have it switched over." And they said, "No, we're not connected to each other." She said, "What did you go through?" I went through Expedia. She said, "Maybe you can contact them." I checked to make sure that the Hyatt Regency had rooms available during the time that we were there, which was like Saturday to Thursday, and so they did have it available. So I called Expedia, and long story short, I had to pay one day for the other room, which I didn't care. I wanted to get out of there. I didn't want to stay there. I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna stay for my 30-year anniversary in some place that looked like Good Times.
Yeah.
I mean, it just. I'm sorry. I'm not stuck up. I'm not snooty. I just wanted to enjoy 30-year anniversary. And I told Brenda, if we can't get out of here, we'll do the best. But I'm gonna try. I spent the last 35 minutes changing that thing, and we got the heck up on out of that place.
I repacked probably less than 5 minutes. I was putting everything in. I don't care what it looked like. Let's get the heck up out of here. So when we went to
Hyatt Regency. Oh, my goodness.
Oh my God. I felt like a queen stepping out of that what was it, Uber, Lyft, whatever. I
Yeah.
just felt like, oh no, this is me. I recognize all of this. This is me walking up in there with the fresh breeze, because the nice hotel is just so open in Hawaii. You know, you don't really have those doors to go through. You just walk on in and stuff to the foyer and everything. But what got me, we walk in there, it's like, in my mind, I'm hearing violins playing, people in my mind serving me champagne.
Oh Jesus Christ! Please
It
stop,
felt
stop,
good.
stop
It
going.
felt good.
Don't
It
go.
felt
It was
good.
it was like night and day. I
It
mean,
was night
there,
and
you know,
day.
it's inside like a shopping mall area
It
too.
was beautiful.
So you go shopping in there.
Yes, the
they got
waterfall.
waterfalls. They got restaurants. I
Mini
mean,
putt.
yeah, I mean, it was wonderful, and they did have a spa in there. They did also have like a Chinese all you can eat, which was ridiculous.
Yeah,
because they wanted to charge you
For
$40
breakfast.
per person for breakfast,
That's like, what?
and I'm like, okay, $40, $80 for the breakfast. And all you can eat, nobody's gonna eat $80 worth of food. We ain't gonna eat $40 worth of food. But it was, I mean, we thought it was ridiculous. So that part was like, but it was totally different. I mean, night and day. I was so glad that I was in. And again,
Our view was beautiful.
thanks to Expedia for helping out with that. They were able to set everything up. And I walked out of that place and I went back down. I said, we finna leave. She said, oh, really? She said, oh, you all just got here. Yeah, we leaving. With this hotel is not up to par for us for our 30th anniversary. We are getting out of here. I mean, I was angry about the fact, again, that, again, not snooty, but when you come somewhere and someone gives you these beautiful pictures about what something looks like, and you walk in there, you're like, what the heck is this? This is not what the pictures show compared to that. And I'm going to hopefully get Brenda to do, because we got some pictures of the hotel and we got pictures of what they show. And you'll see this totally different.
Like,
They're showing like a 10-star, ambiance and look, and it's like a 2-star motel that you might find. People who in Chicago know what I'm talking about. You might find on Stony Island.
Yeah.
Where the
that's
roaches
right.
know you by name. Let's just say
What's
that.
up, Rick? Oh, my God.
I'm like, what the heck? So we did get up out of there in a quickness.
I can say this. When you're traveling, what was that, 10 or 11-hour flight?
Yeah.
Just to get to your paradise, you want your paradise.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to walk into something what we laid eyes on. When I seen that container left over from, somebody left their food in container, I'm like, they didn't even clean the room out. We just walked on into this. And so a lot of people laugh at me, but I roll with my Lysol anyway. I've been spraying everything down. It's like after COVID, let's spray. They didn't even, it was no freshness.
The Lysol spray ran from there.
It sure did. It was no freshness,
it was like,
no nothing.
who wants to walk in a hotel and all of a sudden you smell funk and sour? I'm like, what the heck?
Wait, Smitty said the Dooms.
Yes.
That's Stony Island.
Yeah. What'd you say, Kenny? Okay, so I mean, it was just terrible.
It was, but I thank God we got out of
So
there.
it's Hyatt Place, Waikiki Beach. Isn't that what I said?
Yeah.
Did I say something different?
No,
Yeah.
Hyatt Place. Yeah, Hyatt
Hyatt Place,
is
Waikiki Beach.
too. It's on there.
Yeah. Thanks, Kenny. And so I mean, let me just say this, guys. If you're going to Oahu, and you're going to be on the island of Waikiki. Do not. I mean, unless you have to. I mean, if you don't really. I don't know. You may have. This may be the only thing you can afford. And that might be the case. But I would just say, try to stay away from Hyatt Place Waikiki Beach. I don't even know why they call it beach, because there's no beach around them. Anywhere, because we drove around the area.
And
so
that's the worst part.
Yeah.
You want to be right at the beach.
Yeah,
with the Hyatt Regency, you walk out, you're
Yeah.
right there.
Right.
With the other one, you had to walk with 2 blocks, two
No,
or
it's
3
longer-
blocks.
Longer than that.
It's like,
and-
this ain't cool.
And they blocks are not short, so it was just horrific. I mean, I know I'm gonna have to go in there somewhere and write up to them like, this place was just not adequate for what you're looking for. So I mean, but then again, we got into the Hyatt Regency. We thank again if Expedia for helping us out, and then the trip became much more pleasant. I mean, it went from a 2 to a 10 real
Yeah.
quick.
Even with the bad weather we
Yeah.
encountered, because like we said, we had a luau that had got canceled,
Yeah.
and that's the one thing I wanted to do because you really get the feel at that time. I thought you really get the feel of the culture there with them, but of course they canceled it because of the high winds and everything because it was really really windy. And then the excursion we had of the circle tour of the island, that was it for me. It was beautiful,
Yeah.
but it poured down raining at certain times, and I'm like, really, can we get one good day without the sprinkle, without the rain? But you know what? It was beautiful.
Yeah.
I really have no regrets about that trip. It was funny in the beginning, though.
But I will say this also is that we had some, you know, a lot of places are commercialized, and it's unfortunate that we learned a lot of information about how Hawaii, there are more, you know, Koreans and Japanese living on the island than there are Hawaiians themselves. The one guy, what's his name? Justin?
John and Justin. Justin really broke it down on last month.
They basically said that there are more Hawaiians living in Las Vegas than there are in Hawaii. And
That's sad.
and they have taken away so much of the land there. You know, Americans have came over, you know, Japanese, Chinese, Koreans have came over and taken away so much of the land that the average home there cost about $1 million.
And they can't afford it.
And if you see some of the homes with these $1 million, it looks like huts.
The
But
shacks.
they've taken the land away from the Hawaiians, where they have to go through what they call a homestead thing, where people are on the list for over 30 years to try to get a piece of land. They have to be purely Hawaiian, and they can get it for $1. They can get the land for $1. Now they still have to build the house, but they can get the land for $1. And so it, you know, historically when you hear about this, how, you know, people come over to a place and take over a location, just like they've done in Jamaica and other, you know, places like that, islands, Puerto Rico. You know, it was sad to hear about that. But one of the funny things that happened with me and Brenda is that we were going on our anniversary, and so we went out. Now Duke's is the place we was at all the time. If you're going something, you want to get some good food at a nice, reasonable price. Duke's is a good place to go. We had and that hula pie was just oof.
Oh my God.
That thing is, you know, you can go crazy eating that thing, and it's huge. But we went out for our anniversary, and so I said I want to try another, you know, place, and so we saw this place called Strip Steak, and we walked into the place, and it's our anniversary. Oh, look great, you know, they sit us down, and we opened up the menu. My goodness, they had a 6-ounce steak for $73, and everything was a la carte.
Yeah.
And so I looked.
String beans was 40.
Yeah, I
40.
looked $40. I looked at one of the steaks, and it was $173, and it was like a 12-ounce filet mignon, and I'm like, what the? The halo tipped a little bit. You know, I said, what the HE toothpicks? And I looked at Brenda. I'm like, I said to her, I'm like, hey, these people will never see us again. We ordered 2 drinks. The 2 drinks cost us $30. I said, these people will never see us again. I said, we'll be probably leaving out of this place with a $250 or more bill because everything was high. I said, we finna walk out of here and go to Duke's.
Yeah, and Duke's, don't get us wrong, Duke's is a nice restaurant.
It
It's
is.
named Duke's because the person was the first surfer,
Yeah.
Hawaiian surfer that taught people how to surf, went to the Olympics. They, you know, he had a statue out there
Yeah.
on the strip. They really recognized him, which I still love. But they had everything from the entertainment. You walk out to the beach. Only thing that got Rick and I on this whole adventure was, while we're eating, the first day we went into a surf restaurant, all of a sudden, was it a pigeon? Some
Yeah.
type of bird just come up to us. I'm like, what the heck is going
And
on?
birds are flying everywhere.
Because everything is open. The birds are right there eating with you. If you drop something, they're going to pick it up. That's the only thing that just made me go, I can't do this. But, you know, other than that, everything was really, really nice.
And so going back to where I was at with walking out of the restaurant, We walked out of there and didn't say anything. We just told I told the guy, I said, you know what? I said, I'm just gonna be honest with you. Your prices are too high for me to be in this restaurant. I'm not gonna sit there and try to front and spend, no, $250, $300 for a meal that looked like it's miniature. I mean, I can go to Texas Roadhouse and get a steak bigger than the one that they charged $173 for. We walked out of there and went to Duke's and didn't look back. And then we looked over at this other restaurant. It was called Stir Fry, something like that. I forgot what it was.
Is that stir fry?
We was in a strip steak.
Oh,
This one was
okay.
Stir Fry.
Oh, they didn't have a price.
They prices was just as high. So we like, you know what? We're gonna be eating at Duke's at the restaurant. And again, they did have some good food. I mean, I had a delicious steak. We had a nice little fruity drinks because we don't drink alcohol. They took care of us. They,
Two nights we had free desserts.
free desserts for our anniversary. It was really nice. But I mean, hey, you got to be honest with yourself, people. Don't be trying to front. You going
too over there.
you go to a restaurant, don't be embarrassed to walk out like this is ridiculous. We spent what we would have spent at that one restaurant. We were able to spend for 3 days at Duke's. And probably I think the Duke's was like maybe somewhere between $60 and $70. We probably wouldn't have gotten even to 250 plus. I mean, I'm telling you, it was going to be at least 250 plus. Because you ain't counting the tax yet. Yeah. That's just the bill.
But what gets me with this whole thing, like, it bothered me so much because I'm one of those, like, I gotta know why. And I kept asking Rick, I know it's driving them crazy. Why is there so many Asians here? Where's the Hawaiians at? Because you barely seen them. Everything from when I say Waikiki Beach Strip is California, Rodeo Drive, Las Vegas Strip. It is popping like that. But the thing is, from every high-end store in the window, you got all of these Korean, Asian, Japanese people advertising everything. I was shocked. We was in one of the malls. I said, Rick, there goes Simone, was it Bowles? Her picture was up there. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay, we got one over here. But the thing to get me, it changed so much from 30 years ago. And I know everything must change. But to price it out, to have the original people there, to take their land away that they can't even live there no more, it saddens me. But I love the culture, hearing what happened and everything. And I know people on the bus thing was like, okay, they talking about I want to know what's going on.
And there were some people that wanted to know about the situation. We had some people on our bus who were from Australia, and then we had another young couple that was just getting engaged. And that was nice. But I will say that the only store that we know of that is owned by Hawaiian people is ABC. Mm-hmm. And if you're in Hawaii anywhere, an ABC is on every block.
Every block.
I mean, every block.
And
Everywhere
it's the least expensive store.
Yeah, there's an ABC in our hotel.
Yeah.
It's almost everywhere you go, you're going to walk past an ABC. And it's owned, I think it's owned by Hawaiians, which is nice on that aspect. But, I mean, it was a beautiful trip. We had a good time. Weather permitted, it kind of, but I'm going to tell you something. Some of those overcast days felt so good because it was like maybe, 82 degrees with a cool breeze that's coming through that. Man, that felt so good. Yeah, walking down those, those streets and stuff like that with that nice breeze hitting you. It was just so pleasant.
What didn't feel good was the, like I said, the best tour that we went on, the all-day tour, when it was raining, when we went to the Buddhist temple.
Yeah.
I always see this temple in the movies. I'm like, oh, we right here. Pouring down, raining, that we in raincoats because we was ringing the big bell and they said make a wish, which I got pictures of that. Make a wish of what you want, prosperity, health, blah, 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 blah. But just pouring down raining. And they said for you to go inside the temple, you have to take off your shoes. Who you think gonna take off their shoes in the pouring down rain?
Yeah. Well, what didn't feel good was two things for Brenda. One was us driving a scooter. I ain't never heard a person complain so much with this little scooter we was in. She complained from the time that we got it to the time we was driving it.
Yep. I can't
And,
wait for y'all to see those
and the
pictures.
funny thing about it, the scooter, they say you can go on any expressway. This thing was almost felt like the little engine that could, because it's just purr, 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 purr.
Who what now? Or who what?
A Vespa. A Vespa. Yeah, so Kenny says probably was a Vespa. I'm going to tell you something. That we on the road trying to go up to 35 miles an hour. It seemed like it took that thing a block to get up to 35 miles an hour. People on the streets was like so frustrated with being behind us. They you know, and I'm like and I'm like they was telling you don't go up any steep hill. We went up one steep hill and I'm like, "Oh my God, I hope this thing don't fall backwards." And speaking of backwards, the vehicle does not reverse. So if you make a turn and you need to, turn around or something, you have to get out of the vehicle, push it back, and push it in the direction you want to, and then get back and drive it. The seat belts wouldn't work for us because they were too small.
I mean, we're too big.
Well, they look like seat belts for kids. I mean, it just we had some other couples who couldn't get in the seat belt. These are adult people. Neither the seat belts would work. So Brenda wasn't happy about that.
The helmet.
The helmets would, she
Seat
couldn't get it past her head. Her top of her hair. You had to look at it. What we're talking about, the bun that she has on there. And so that was something. And we're driving by, and they tell you not to get on the expressway because the thing doesn't move fast enough. So we're driving by trying to look for different things. And one time I couldn't get the thing to turn on. We're in the bake heat, and I couldn't get it to turn on. And people said, "Oh, is that fun?" I said, "For me, it's fun, but for her, it's not."
And they could tell. But wait, what made it fun though? We're driving. Well, Rick driving, trying to steer this thing, and I'm like, you know what? Let me put on my sunglasses, my hat, and at least I could do for a photo op, look like I'm having fun. I guess even through my sunglasses when we stop, because most people want to get on that thing. They was like, "Oh, okay, that look cool." They look at Rick like he said, "Look like y'all having fun," and they could see through my sunglasses. She ain't having fun.
Now, what was the thing that I said I wanted to order, but it was too much?
Slingshot.
A slingshot. Now they had a slingshot there.
What was it, $400, $500?
It was $450. You could have it for the whole day. Now this thing cost me like $100 and something for the day. We had it for a whole day. I gave it back within 4 hours because Brenda was complaining so much.
When I had to push did I have to help you reverse it?
Yeah,
No.
it wasn't that hard to push back.
I don't care.
She complained through the whole thing. I just gave. I'm like, okay, you know what? We'll do something else. That's we'll have it. And then we got on the boat. Oh my goodness. Seasick Betty over here.
Got seasick. I'm like,
she
what?
got seasick and couldn't eat any of the food but it was still. I mean, it was really nice. It was really comfortable. But she got seasick on the thing, and so that kind of now it's funny because a guy sitting right next to us got seasick too.
He was the one just like me, or
Yeah,
like you.
he was like you, because
Okay.
both of you all get seasick. But I mean, it seems like we didn't have any. It was funny. These things are funny. It's not like we didn't have fun with it, but it was funny. We did have a lot. I would have loved to have gotten that slingshot because you can keep it for the whole day. It was a 2-thing scooter, Kenny. It's like a 2-seat scooter. Maybe you can send me.
I'm gonna send him that picture.
Yeah, send him the
it to
picture that what we
Vanessa.
had that she had on there. It was a 2-thing scooter, and let me tell you something. You don't
It's
have
tiny.
you don't have a lot of room to move in that thing. But that slingshot, man, I wish I could have had that thing. You keep it for the whole entire day. Now, if you do rent a car out in Hawaii, make
Those
sure
Jeeps.
you the parking can be expensive there too. You can rent a car, but you're gonna have to. There's not really a lot of side parking that you can find there, so you're gonna pay for a place to park the car. So if you want to stop to go somewhere, you may have to pay for parking there because there's not a lot of street parking. And we had this little scooter we had to put a little lock on it because people
And
were saying
take a picture.
take a picture because they were saying people will steal it. And I'm like, yeah, you can just pick this thing up and put it in the car. You got an SUV, just pick it, put it up in the car, you're gone. And I'm like, okay, it was fun, but I would have rather had the slingshot. If they would have brought that, if that thing would have been like $300, I probably would have gotten it for the day. And some of the fun things that you can do if you can rent a car and go on some of the excursions yourself, or even follow some of the trolley cars, you get a chance to see some great things. The only thing I didn't like on some of the excursions that we went on the Dole Plantation, you don't really see the plantation. They take you to a souvenir shop so you can buy things. You go past the plantation. You don't really get a chance to stop there and enjoy it. They take you past it. Now, we did go through a waterfall and walk through there. And I'm going to tell you something. It was so beautiful. He's got a lot of hills, but it was almost like you was in Jurassic Park. It
Which
was so
we
beautiful.
Went past,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, you went past it. Now, that picture of Brenda's out there now with the little scooter. It's
oh Lord.
it's you when you showed it to him, of course, you don't look bad on the picture. But it was fun. We really had a lot of great fun doing that. And all I can say is make sure you really prepare yourself for it, because the flights are long. We was on 5 hours because we had to ship planes. Sometimes it might be good if you can find somewhere that can just go straight. And if you absolutely can, if you have the money or save up the money for it, first class is probably the best way to go, because those planes were so freaking crowded. It was ridiculous with sitting in those seats, and you look at first class and you see the seats we were in is like so small. Even with me and Brenda sitting by ourselves, it was like we were like
Cramped.
jammed in. They try to get in so many seats now in a plane. It's ridiculous.
And God forbid you got to go to the bathroom.
I'm telling you.
Oh my God, you gotta crawl over each other, walk down that narrow aisle. Then when you get in there, you can't even move. It's like, oh my God, it's so tight in there. But on the first plane going there, the flight attendant, she looked at me. You know what was up, because
the
I had
Lysol
my,
stuff.
I had to
Yeah.
tell them I had my Lysol
So
spraying.
Sheldon is asking us, did you guys climb Diamond Head? No, we didn't. We didn't get a chance to. I don't even know if we got a chance to. We went to Diamond Head.
Yeah, went to it.
But we didn't. You're talking about Brenda here, Sheldon. She ain't doing no unnecessary walking, so we didn't get a chance to do that.
We did a lot of walking.
We walked off a lot of
That's
food.
unnecessary for me to walk up the top of that. It's so massive.
So Sheldon saying Betty pushed you. Yeah, Betty pushed. She complained all the way, but Betty pushed. Betty was complaining her little butt off about that little vehicle.
You see how tiny it is?
I mean, she was complaining her butt off of that thing, but it was it was nice. I tell you one thing for sure. If you're going to any place there for eating and stuff like that, majority of the people are in such casual clothes. You may want to dress up for an outing, a night outing, or something like that. Most of the people were even in the evening going to dinner or something like that. They were in the most casual clothes,
Right.
In any location. So we was dressed up a little bit, and you could see people looking at us like, oh, okay.
Yeah, they made it seem like, and I'm a caftan girl. They made it seem like we were overdressed, and I'm like, y'all don't have on. Okay,
I mean, it was like everywhere they go, everybody's just casual. So.
And I don't. No, I know. We wasn't talking about being suited up or nothing.
No, we had leisure. I had like a leisure shoot on.
Right, but I'm saying I'm used to people being in beach wear on the beach and everything. But I'm talking about people just in a little shorts, a t-shirt, like how I was when we was on tours like that. But for dinner, it's like, don't you want a different look or something? No.
Yeah, so
they looking at us like y'all overdressed. Oh.
Our producer Kenny said it's a hot town. Is that what you said, Kenny? It's a hot town.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, and the humidity is there too. I think one of the things that Brenda was talking about also is that everywhere you go, if you're sitting outside, you got to be concerned about the birds, because the birds will jump on your table and eat your food if you're not paying attention.
No, I was concerned about those birds, but the birds, the parrots, the parakeets, parrots.
She had to take a picture with these nasty looking parrots.
They wasn't there. They were beautiful.
I mean, the parrots on my hand, it irritated me. I just wonder. I'm like,
that didn't bother
how
me.
many times is this man actually cleaning these parrots? Because you're putting him on every person, and so the parrots, feet are picking up, and it kind of irritated me. I'm like, I didn't want to take the picture with the parrot, and it was so funny because the parrot was trying to bite at Brenda's bun on her head, and me and Kibble said, "Don't do that." He's biting at the stuff like that. I'm like, okay.
And I told
He like, I'm
him,
gonna pull this
I
off.
will hurt you. But
I
they
mean,
were smart birds. They was
they were nice, but I just wonder sometimes, they didn't look the cleanest to me.
really. I don't
Not to
see
me.
that.
I didn't really want to do that, because I just know at some of these islands, these people they do this all the time. People
And
every
we
day.
scrub when we get back to the
Every
room.
day they're sitting on somebody, and I'm like, I don't really know if I want to do that because I get sensitive skin. I have very sensitive skin. So.
I do too.
But
yeah.
that was a trip. I mean, it was funny. Again, man, and I'm gonna read the thing out because Kenny did give it to me. I want to make sure I'm saying it right. It was the Hyatt Place, Waikiki Beach. Oh my God, stay away from that. If you ain't going to Oahu, Waikiki, stay away from Hyatt Place, Waikiki Beach. It is. It was not very clean. And it's kind of off of the beach area. You're gonna walk about 3 or 4 blocks to get to the beach from there, and the money that you may save, you definitely want to go and find something else.
Hey.
Yeah.
I want to talk about on the cruise the what are they, Korean, Japanese people that have the attitude of the Hawaiian girls and stuff.
Yeah.
That tickled the mess out of me.
I didn't know if I want to really get into that, but it just seemed like when we're on there, you could see that there was a disdain look from a lot of the Japanese women to the Hawaiian.
But they are beautiful.
Yeah, and you can see that from the women. Now the Japanese men were drooling.
Right.
I
Over
mean,
the
they were.
Hawaiian women.
I mean, the
my
one man was
God.
looking at her like she was a piece of meat, and I'm looking at him like,
And he was ready to devour it
I'm
right
like,
there.
okay, you are with somebody here, aren't you?
The mean one, the
You know.
frowned up looking one.
But she was dancing with them because they had different dances, and I swear I never saw a smile on their face over there. They were just looking at her with the meanest look.
And I'm like, well, why are y'all here? Though?
I'm like, you do know that they're going to be doing this on the
Like a mini
on the
luau
tour, yeah.
on the boat.
So
and
it was nice, and they had a good singer on there. They did acknowledge our 30-year anniversary. It was beautiful. I really enjoyed that. Last thing, Brenda. Last thing.
That time when they was announcing it, I was on top deck trying not to fall out. Right.
Trying not to throw up.
Yeah, he gave me a barf bag. I was like, oh Lord.
Yeah,
But
so-
hey, it was nice. Had a good time.
Yeah, I had a good time. I almost threw up, but I had a good time.
I think it was the
Yeah.
champagne.
Nah, it's a person. Now, this is the same thing that happened to her 30 years ago when we went on our honeymoon. We got on a boat and she got sick. I'm like, you should have been prepared for that. I should have remembered that.
Yes.
But, I'm like, somebody should remember because I'm like,
But put me on a cruise. I'm fine.
yeah, okay. So we're going to go. We spent a lot of time on that. And I think I got something on here where we talked about married but living separately. Do I want to rush into this? I'm going to go ahead and play the next song we got for Smokey Nova. We've been talking a lot here. We're going to play the next song for Smokey Nova. I Still Have You, I believe, is the next song. Listen up to this song, these commercials, and for those of you who are with the Facebook and YouTube, stay with us. We got another story we're going to share, and we'll be right back. All right, what you got?
Okay, this next story just happened yesterday or early this morning. Chicago in charge after 4 killed in CTA Blue Line shooting in Forest Park. Now, they identified the 3 people. Well, they identified 3 people. I guess there's one still out there they have to do. But they saying a girl named Rihanna or Ronnie S. Davis faces 4 counts of first-degree murder. That's interesting to me. A girl, during this time, gonna shoot these people while they're asleep on the train, and you didn't rob them, you just executed them.
I think I heard somewhere that said the people were homeless. They thought they may have been homeless.
With a gun.
No, the people that get killed were homeless, sleeping
Oh.
on the train.
Okay.
And somebody just decided. I mean, I don't know why they decided to do something like that, but I don't know. I'm a little bothered by some of the things that we're hearing here lately. Not just lately, but you're on the bus and you're just people's on the train and you're just shooting somebody for no apparent reason. And what I remember reading about that story is that there were 3 on one card and 1 on another. So that means they shot some people on one card and then went to the next card and shot another individual. And why they would do something like that, I don't really know.
And you have to think, who's the one with the mental disability? It's the girl that was shooting people. Granted, yes, these people are homeless. Like we were saying, in Hawaii, it's a lot of homeless people there. But that does not give you or me or Rick the right to take their lives. And it's like, and you just gave up your life, baby, because you ain't getting out of jail. Especially if you're black, you ain't getting out of jail. But anyway.
I'm just trying to read this as every loss is tragic. The 4 adult victims were 3 men and 1 woman. Police said 3 of the victims were found shot in one train car and 1 was found in another. I did see something. I was trying to see, they were saying that people may have been homeless on the train. I'm not seeing that here yet. But in any situation, it's like I'm kind of shocked by how we are so nonchalant about taking a life. Mm-hmm. It's like it means nothing to us, that we can just easily go and just kill someone, and it doesn't seem to trouble people at all anymore. Mm-hmm. And that's something I'm going to talk about probably in September, October, as I'm trying to understand, and help me with this, maybe Kenny, Brenda, when we get here. It just seems like that black people are killing each other just at an alarming rate, and it is we're almost at a situation where this is what white people think of us, therefore that's what we're going to do. And it's disturbing to me because, I mean, I know the news only, perpetuate, black on black crime, and statistics has shown that throughout the years that there's more white on white crime than black crime, which is not shown throughout the United States. But I'm just concerned about how we keep on shooting and killing each other for senseless things. There's no senseful thing, but you may want to protect yourself, and you may have to shoot somebody because they're trying to kill you. Okay, but I'm concerned about that, and it's not like it's not been a conversation that hasn't been talked about before. So I'm not bringing up any new revelation. It's just that I just want to bring it out there again. It's like the 12 smooth stones in the Bible. They continuously talked about the trials and tribulations that the tribes of Judah had to go through. And so the people would remember that. And I think sometimes we've forgotten that we as a people have went through slavery. We went through poverty. We went through gerrymandering. We went through redlining. We went through hate and racism and all this from other people. And why do we feel the need to have all of this against us, and yet we are against us? And so it's troubling to me because somehow or another, the shift of the atmosphere of how African Americans view each other needs to change. I mean, from the top to the bottom, we need to make sure that, we can't be affluent African Americans, or I don't know if I'm affluent, but affluent African Americans who are making, a lot of money, look down on the ones that are not. Can we help? Are we doing anything to pull our brother up? And when we see something that, where our people are falling astray, what are we doing? It's just troubling to me when I see this. And I could talk. I know my boy Sheldon. I'm gonna have to bring him on here. I see Sheldon's out there. I'm gonna have to bring Sheldon on here one time and talk to me. If you want to have somebody can have a can talk about almost any conversation. That's one of the people you want to call because that brother has a lot of knowledge and he helps a lot of people. And so, Sheldon, if you're still out there, man, I'm going to reach out to you because we got to talk about this situation. What is going on with our people? Where we're falling in line to what people think about us, and that's the thing that I don't care what people think about us, but we should not fall in line with what they think about us. Black people are this, black people that, and now we are what they say. It's like, you can say all you want about me, but that doesn't mean I'm going to be that, and I'm not going to be bothered. You don't like me, okay, fine, I don't care, but I'm not going to dislike me or go against me or go against my people. And it's a shame. We're going to talk about some voting as well when we get back on the line here. So we're going to be coming back in a few seconds for that. People heard the story about the Chicago shooting. We're praying for the families. They're trying to find the family members because they didn't, they think they may have been homeless. So we're going to work on that, and we'll be right back on SOAR Radio. All right, everybody, welcome back to SOAR Radio. Two-time Stellar Award winner for Best Internet Station of the Year. Speaking about that, make sure you listen to the JD Morning Show tomorrow between the hours of 6 and 8 a.m. only on SOAR Radio. You can hear Justin Kinney and the gang talking about some great things. And also, if you want to have your own radio show, contact them at SOAR Radio. SOAR. What is? I'm gonna mess it up now. Kidding, tell me what it is again. I was on a roll, and I think it's SOAR Radio at SOAR.com. Yes. Okay. Thank you. You can, if you soar at soarradio.com. So let me start it over. Hey, if you want your own radio show, you can contact them at soar at soarradio.com. That's soar at soarradio.com. Let them know about the show you want to do. This is a religious, station. So let's try to keep it that way. You can have me tea, me and tea, and tea could be a cup of tea or it could be tea. But, whatever you want it to be, you can have your gospels, your church or your gospel. You can just be playing gospel music and talk between the gospel music. Whatever you're interested in, just contact me at soar@soarradio.com to get your show on SOAR Radio. Again, two-time Stellar Award winner for Best Internet Station of the Year. So make sure also, we're already hearing things about SOAR 2025. If you've never seen the SOAR Awards, you have missed a treat. It is just amazing of the stars that come out there to Rockville, Illinois, to sing and get awards. It is amazing. So get ready for SOAR 2025. I don't know if tickets are available yet or not, but you can check at soar.com and you'll be able to find out information on that as well. October 1st when tickets will be available. So get ready, get ready, get ready. You're going to have amazing stars. Whatever superstar that's a gospel singer, they will be there. So just check that out. And what we'll do is always, we'll play all the music from all the people out there, even the ones that are not superstars. During that period of time, we play their music so you can get a chance to hear it as well. So we're going to talk about this one thing. I think I might push the marriage thing to next week. But I want to talk about some. We've been talking a lot about Project 2025, and if you haven't looked at the news at all, shame on you. But if you have, you've noticed that the Democrats are constantly. I said this at the beginning, long ago before this started happening. That be prepared because they're going to be talking about Project 2025 and what Trump is lying that he's not trying to do to take us from a democracy to an autocracy. And that's all the Democrats are talking about is Project 2025. Trump is lying and saying he's not a part of it. He doesn't know anything about it. But if you've been paying attention to MSNBC, CNN, CNBC, Fox don't talk about it because they're Republican nation. All the major networks other than Fox has been telling you about what Project 2025 is. And as Trump is telling you, all you got to do is vote one more time. You don't have to worry about it. You never need to vote again. And he says, I don't need any more votes. We have enough votes. There are so many things that they are doing to try to steal votes from people. I think one time in Texas, I just recently heard that they had suspended over 100,000 Latino votes, causing a problem there to try to gerrymander votes and start political suicide against people trying to get their votes in and just doing everything they can to limit the number of Democrats that are going to vote. And it's affecting those who they believe that might vote Democrat, and they're causing the issue. And this is going in so many different states. There's already states that saying they're not going to certify, blah, 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 blah. So if you haven't heard anything about that, we're going to shift a little bit from Project 2025. And I want to talk about voting, because one of the major things that the Republicans are doing is trying to limit the amount of people, especially African American and people of color, from having the desire to vote. I got to put on my little glasses here so when I read on this, but it was basically saying here that people of color make up 30% of eligible voters in the United States, but cast just 22% of all votes. So they're saying people of color make up 30% of all eligible voters, but only cast 22% of the votes. Says the significant smaller share of the votes relate to the representation of voter population, according to a new analysis. Now it says, as the gap of voters turn between people of color and white people continue to widen, the study breaks down the numbers showing how Latinos, Asian Americans, and Black people are consistently underrepresented in the electorate, which is evidence in the Guardian reporting. For this is from the Guardian Guardian News, and it is saying that the reason why is a small part of it has to do with voter suppression efforts. So they're trying to suppress people of color from voting because they know that people of color typically will vote Democrat. And we got one story here that Brendan didn't get a chance to read yet, where it was talking about Ice Cube was telling people that, you need to know who you're voting for. And they think he's, backing Trump. And he said, you can kiss my blank, blank, blank. I'm just telling Black people they need to know what they're voting for, which is absolutely true. Now here it says the study shows that between 2010 and 2020, the U.S. saw a 35% raise in overall numbers of Asian Americans, 23% in Latinos. Now I want you to hear this. And between the years of 2010 and 2020, 10 years, a decade, they saw a 35% raise in Asian Americans, 23% of Latinos, but with Blacks, 6%. That means that Blacks are not increasing in the United States at a rate of less than 1% a year. At a rate of less than 1% a year. And that's why I said, we need to find out what's happening with Black people. Are we killing each other that much that we're not even growing within a 10-year period? Less than 1%. Now, if you ever listen to the show, you remember a longer time ago, I told you that the census said in 40 years that the Black population would only increase by 0.1%. Here is a 10-year study showing you that they only increased 6%, which shows you that every year that's less than 1%. Less than 1% that African Americans are increasing. We need to do something about that. It says while the white population declined by 2%, still election results are shaped by white voters despite the eligible voter population increasing by that time. So now hear this. White people in 2020 accounted for 67.6% of eligible voters. Eligible voters. So that means about maybe 22.4% or 23.4% were people of color. He said, but they made up 75.1% of the share of voters who cast a vote to higher turnout results of overrepresented among actual voters. So they account for 67.6% of eligible voters, but they voted 75.1% of the times. So that means they voted more than the percentage of eligible voters compared to 100% of voters, which means now you only got about maybe 24% from all the other people. And you're wondering why your local government, your aldermans, your House of Representatives, your senators are all white. They're voting. So when you go into your local government and you live in a Latino community, but yet you go to a judge in that area and he's white. Well, that's because you ain't voting. The people that are there that are white are voting for that person. And so, you may have your Latino alderman, which is great. But when you go, if you live in a city of Chicago, you got to go to a court, or if you live in a suburb and you're not voting and you're wondering why there's nobody that looks like you, it's because you're not voting for those small positions that you think, those local government, those local judges, those local officials. You're not voting. You don't care about it. It doesn't affect you. And so they're voting and we're not voting. And so that is a major problem. We need to get out and vote. Now, one of the things I did like about this was they were also talking about black voter turnout, because black voter turnout, if you get a huge black voter turnout, you're almost guaranteed to win. It says voter turnout among black Americans is higher compared to that of other racial groups. In 2012 presidential elections, so you know who won in 2012? I got to tell you, it was Obama. Black turnout surpassed white turnout for the first time. Did you hear that? Because we finally had a candidate that looked like us, we voted. Hey, got news flash for you. We got a candidate now that looks like us. Hello. In 2012 presidential election, black turnout surpassed white turnout for the first time. It says the year 2020 saw a record number of 154.6 million people turn out for a presidential election. People of color made up a substantial share of those voters. Did you hear that? So in 2020, who won? It was Biden. And people of color made the difference. The people of color made up a substantial share of voters. People of color, especially black voters, play a pivotal role in the outcome of presidential elections, but their participation in midterms is noticeably declining. What does that mean? So that means when senators and House of Representatives come up, you ain't voting. Now they're the ones that when Obama got in there, you heard from the House guy that he said they're going to make sure that, not the House but the Senate, they're going to make sure that they stop every vote that Obama tries to get through the office, because those are midterm votes. Those are for House and Representatives. Blacks will not vote during that time. And so what you basically do is that you make it easier for others to cause problems for the person you voted for, because you're allowing the House and the Senate to be filled with Republicans. And so when Obama was in the office, he had to fight tooth and nail to get anything through, because at one time there was the House and the Senate was majority of them was Republicans, because they had the majority of the seats, and they tried to stop everything that he tried to put through. So we need to recognize that when midterm votes come in, when you get something in the election about midterm votes, take the time to find out who's there, because this is your city, this is your town, this is where you live at. Your House of Representatives, your senator, your local government, your local committeemen, your local judges, that you're going to see those votes there. If you don't know who they are and you don't vote for them, then you can't get mad when you don't see anybody that looks like you.
Yep.
And so that's something that says black voters can vote in a relatively high number, but they still face challenges with turnout. And we see those disparities as play out now. Black people are not voting consistently at a high rate. I mean, I love the fact that we want to vote for Kamala Harris. Kamala, I'm sorry. Kamala. I was trying to say that right. I sound like Trump now. Kamala Harris.
Madam President.
It's great that we want to do that. But we need to, as I agree with Ice Q, we need to know what these votes stand for. Make these people earn our votes. But we have to be consistent in voting. A lot of times people just, I ain't going out and vote. Man, my God, they allow you now to do early voting. Do the voting. Stop doing that. It doesn't make any sense. Now, there are some places that are making it very hard for blacks and people of color to vote. It says, while black people are projected to account for 14% of the eligible vote in the upcoming presidential election, there's a significant barrier they face in taking part of the voting. So there are places that are trying to stop your voting. Mississippi is the largest black share of votes of 37%, followed by Georgia, a swing state, where they make up a third of the eligible votings. But stringent voter ID laws, aggressive gerrymandering, and harsh sentences for errors and voters' registration in these states cause barriers for black people. So they are doing everything they can to try to stop you, like your voter ID laws. You got to know that. You got to make sure that you have your valid driver's license, or a state representative license at the time. You ain't gonna be able to go in there with no ticket trying to say this is me.
No.
It's not gonna. You got to know this.
Yeah.
Right.
Amen
And
to that.
as Kenny says, it's very important for us to go out and vote early, so you know you have time. So, because if you go out and vote early and they tell you that there's a problem, then you still got time to vote. Stand in those lines. I mean, take the time. If they're allowed, I think voters registration starts sometime soon. I know Kenny will find that for me, but you'll probably get a chance to vote about a month and a half or 2 months before the election, the actual election date. Take the time, because you know that they're going to try to find ways to cause problems. I mean, we tried to go vote over here, and they changed our voting place and didn't even tell us. We had to go to another place. We was voting in one place all the time, then they changed it over last year. And so Illinois, you can register to vote now. So if you're in the state of Illinois, so just check your state and find out if you're eligible to vote. And so, go out there and do it. Now that I know that I can vote now, I'll probably go ahead and vote now. And so it's very important that you do that. And so black people of color, you already have an issue. That's it. There's an outright voter suppression effort that is still happening in the United States. Go figure. I mean, there are so many things that are happening that are trying to stop you, because, and especially Republicans, because they know if the majority of people go out and vote, Democrats will win. And right now, the way that Donald Dummy is doing, Dummy Trump is doing, there's a lot of people that don't want to vote for him. But one of the things that we've seen statistically for years, and the data has shown it, that Republicans will go out and vote, whereas people of color will not take the time to vote. Now, I will say this: people voting for Trump don't have no reason why they voting for him other than he's Trump and he's racist and prejudiced as them. You got a lot of Republicans do that. They don't do any studying. They're not looking at anything. It's like almost a baseball team. I like the White Sox more than the Cubs. They have no educational reason for, and I think there's a word called educational, a reason for voting for him other than him telling them about things he's going to do to make it great for them as white people. Period. That's
Uh-uh.
true. And so Kenny's making this hard for me because he's talking instead of getting on this thing and talking himself. But he said you get most people that do the same thing. They just go down the line, Republicans and stuff, and a Republican or a Democrat, and they really don't realize what they're voting for, and that's wrong. Go
But
ahead.
wait a minute. But in all honesty, though, when we're going to vote, they give us that little strip packet of who's all the Democrats you need to vote for. And I hate to say it, I've been guilty of doing that too. Doing a straight Democratic voting thing. But the thing is, people don't get out there and vote. Period. They
Yep.
just really need to get out there.
But that changes when it comes to the presidency. Because when it comes to the presidency, then they'll have the Republicans and Democrats on there. When it's just like a Senate or a local thing, they'll ask you voting Republican or Democrat. I don't like that because I would, there may be a Democrat, a Republican that I want to vote for, and I may want to vote for a independent. But the problem becomes we don't vote. And I don't feel like being bothered with this. Early voting, come on. I mean, you already got people that don't want you to vote. They're trying to stop you from voting in every way that they can. Get out there and vote. Now, I love the fact that Kamala Harris is running. I love the fact that she is an intelligent African American woman. I love the fact that I might be living in history where I see the first black male president and the black female president. But Kamala Harris is educated and she's qualified for the job. If Trump was on the Democratic side and Kamala Harris is on the Republican side, I would be voting Republican. Not because she's black, because she's qualified. Now it's wonderful that we're going to have somebody in the office that's like us. It's great because that never happened before. Till Obama came in, you didn't have anybody. Jesse ran in '82, but he didn't have a chance. But it's nice, but you're qualified. If Obama would have been like Trump, black people would be rolling in the grave. If Kamala was like that, you'd be saying like, girl, those AKAs would be having a fit. Are you representing us like this? So it's not just because she's black. It helps. You like it. She's educated. She's knowledgeable. People tell me, I don't think she's ready. What do you mean? How can anybody be ready for a position that they've never been in? Donald Trump was in the position. He still ain't ready. He wasn't ready then. Republicans knew he wasn't ready then. And he's still not ready. So what I'm trying to say to people of color, especially my African American people, don't sit down. This is a time to make history. It's already going to be a fight to stop you from voting. There's already states out there that are trying to stop you, and they're building up something Republican Party to stop the registration or the it's not the registration, but they're trying to stop the electoral votes from going through. And there's already a lot of things out there, but make it so hard for them that the number of people that are voting are just astronomical. Did you hear when I said for the first time in history of voting since 1965 when blacks could vote, and they vote before that, but the equal rights, the blacks outnumbered the whites in voting. Can you believe that? Now, you know how many white people in the United States? I'm going to read this again. I don't want to say like I read this wrong, but I want to read it one more time. We ain't got that much time left here. It says, in 2012 presidential election, black turnout pass. I keep on saying this word wrong. Surpass. 2012 president election, black people surpassed white turnout for the first time.
Well, we
In
need to do that
2012.
again.
Now, Obama won in
12
2008
years later.
and 2012. So that means black people came out more the second time, more than white people voting. And there's at least 2-3 times more whites in the United States than there are blacks. And we beat them in voting.
I mean, you know, when it comes to it in a weird time, the hope was there. Now we feeling that hope again that we have a reason to vote. So I don't know what the confusion was with Ice Cube and stuff, you know, the way people are saying, but you do need to know who you're voting for.
Right.
Read up on her. Read up on the VP that she chose. Know what you're voting for. Yes, we still want your vote no matter what because we don't want the other one in there. But you gotta be able to do your due diligence.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Yeah, vote. Vote for Kamala and Tim Walz to get in there. But don't forget to know who you're voting for the Senate and the House. Don't forget if there's some judges running, find out who they are. You can find out this information in any state you are. You can just say who's running for election in 2024 in your state, and you can find out information on those people. Because if you vote for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, and the Republicans get the House and the Senate, they're going to fight them tooth and nail in everything. And they're going to make it seem like they didn't do anything because they don't want them to be successful, and especially because of the black female in there. Because that's the one thing that they got on television. O'Connell, that's her name. He got on television and said, we are going to try to stop anything that he tries to pass through the House. Through the Senate.
But
no
you know
bill.
what, so
We
it
gotta let
really
it go
isn't
through.
for the country. It's just for the party.
Yes,
We
right.
want to get the credit for doing
and
something.
it's like that's crazy. But that's the world we live in. So you need to know who you're voting for also in the under tickets for the House and the representatives. Find out who they are. You know, I mean, you can say, hey, just don't vote Democrat. Vote Democrat. I mean, okay, that's helpful. But you need to know who they are because they have judges there sometimes, and they may be Democratic judge, but that doesn't mean they're gonna care about you. You need to know who's there, who you're voting for. So, black people of color, rise up. We need you to vote early. If you check your state, find out when you can start voting. And as Kenny told us, it's best for you to vote early. So if you get in a problem with your voting, and they cause an issue what you're voting, what you're required to vote, what you need to vote, you still have enough time to get that information together. Don't wait till the last day to go vote. Then you ticked off because they are not gonna let me vote. Okay, you've been told that there may be some problems. Make sure that everything you need to vote is in order. There's nothing wrong with you going up there one day and saying, hey, I want to find out if I'm eligible to vote. And they say, yeah, you are. You said, okay, I'm going to vote. Or I'll come back and vote. But make sure you vote. But take the time. You got it. I think every state has early voting. I don't think there's not a state that don't have early voting. We don't have that much time to check that out. But you have early voting. Go and vote early. So that way, because you hear they're talking about voters suppression. They're trying to do this in all kinds of states. And we told you about the state of Mississippi and Georgia. They have these crazy stringent voter ID laws, aggressive gerrymandering, and what is it, harassing, I think I can't see this word. I get about a couple of minutes before we go. Harsher sentences. And I'm going to give you people, because so many people are probably trying to figure out what is gerrymandering. And it's just a electoral system. Gerrymandering is a political manipulation for electoral district boundaries with an intent to create undue advantage for a party, group, or social economic class within a region. So basically what they're saying, they're trying to make it hard for you based on the party that you're in. and if that governor or that House of Representative or that senator is Republican, they're going to try to make it hard for anybody who's voting Democrat in those states. So I believe Mississippi is definitely Republican, and Georgia right now has a House that's Democrat and the Senate is Democratic, but the governor is a Republican. So you have to battle through that, and so those are some of the issues that they have, and the people they have that's doing the electoral votes, counting that. Trump has put in Republicans in there that cause issues in Georgia. So these are the things you got to go through. So if you know this about your state, check it out. The Bible says, "Study to show thyself approved." This is very important that we get the votes out there. I got about like a minute or so left. People of color, go out and vote. Go early to make sure you get your vote in. So if you have a problem, you have the time to solve it. We want to be like 2012. We want to have black voters, people of color, outvote whites in voting, so we can make sure that food does not get into the White House. Baby, you got about 30 seconds. You got anyone you want to say?
Love you guys.
Hey, we're going to get out of here. We hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you again for all those who wished us well for our 30-year anniversary. And we'll see you next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Woo-woo! People of Facebook, people of YouTube, people of the world, if you're still listening, we hope you enjoyed the show. Please get out and vote early. Vote early. To your internet. Find out when your state allows early voting. And if you are a person of color, get out and vote early. Because if you're going to have a problem, you want to know that early so you can solve it and get the information you need so you can vote. And then, notate that down. Tell them, hey, what do I need? Show me what I need. And make sure you have a record of that. So when you come back, they won't come up with some other stuff that you need. And then if you feel that you're being violated from your vote, call the state governor, call your state representative. If they're Republican and you're Democratic, you might have some issue, but still call. Make the call. You go to your Democratic Party that's in that location and tell them, hey, they're causing me a problem to vote because I'm Democratic. I need you all to go here and check this out. And they will. They'll definitely do it. So we're going to get out of here. We'll see you next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Bye-bye.